Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, I'm Ashley, and I hope you're having a productive day. Today is a new episode of my series, Cook With Me. I'm actually planning on making this a more frequent series, probably every other week. But today's episode is going to be a tale of two strawberry pies. So I'm going to take a little different approach with some of my videos, and I'm going to start doing a comparison between the standard recipe of a food and a healthier version of a recipe. So some of them are going to be like my own recipes that I either learned growing up or that I've created, and some of them will be standard cookbook recipes. So today's a tale of two strawberry pies. So growing up, my grandmother, one of the very first thing I learned to cook was her strawberry pie. I say cook loosely, make. The very first thing I ever learned to make and really dove into was strawberry pie. And it is one of my top favorite foods. It is my favorite dessert ever. So that became synonymous with her. And she passed away when I was 13. And now every time I make it, I feel like she's with me and she's helping me make it. So fast forward to being an adult, my grandfather, her widow, my grandfather, he found out that he was diabetic when he was around 70 years old. So he also loves strawberry pie, loves the recipe. So he changed it to be less sugar by using some different ingredients. So I wanted to do a comparison on how you do each recipe and the difference in taste and the difference in macros in each pie, and then determine my opinion on are you okay going with the lightened version? You don't lose a lot of flavor or lose a lot of what it means to have the strawberry pie, and then you can eat a little more of it or have it more often? Or is it best to do the full version but just not have it as often and eat it in moderation? So that's the plan for today. Side note about me, I do collect strawberry stuff. I have these, my grandfather actually got me these strawberry cookie jars for Christmas one year, and then I found this sign at a store. All scattered throughout my house are strawberry things. So I thought for doing this comparison, strawberry pie was the perfect thing to do as my first one. So let me show you what you need to make the pies and where the differences are, okay? So let me turn it over here. I have the ingredients. So for the full flavor pie, we need sugar, strawberry flavored jello, cornstarch, light corn syrup, a pie crust. This is just a frozen pie crust. It needs to be unthawed a little bit. I have had it sitting on the counter for about 10 minutes, so it is ready to be baked. And strawberries, which I left in the fridge. So I'll get those out when I take a break here. And then for the lighter side of it, you still need the cornstarch and the light corn syrup. Those two things go in both. But I'm going to use stevia instead of sugar and sugar-free jello to lighten it up. I am also going to have Cool Whip with each. And I have light Cool Whip and I have full fat Cool Whip. So that's what we need to do. Or those are the ingredients. Now it's time to get started on the actual making the pie process. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the pies and I'm going to do what's called docking the pie crust. That's where you take a fork, just any fork, and you poke holes in it so that the pie crust doesn't bubble up too much when you cook it. So you just go around. I'll show you the other one in a minute. The bottom and sides of the pie. And you poke these holes, and that gives a place for the air to escape as it's cooking. You want to make sure that you pre-cook the pie crusts. I'm just going around and poking my holes. Like I said, you want to do the sides as well. And then you want to have, I hope you can see little holes all over it. So this goes in the oven for 10 minutes. And then I'll show you what we're going to do while these heat in the oven. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is I need to wash the strawberries. So I'm just right here by my sink, and I'm going to do that real quick. Just run cold water over the container. No big deal. So now that they're washed, I need to cut them up. So let me get situated and show you guys that. So now I'm ready to chop. I just have a bowl. These are ginormous strawberries. So I'm gonna cut them. I cut the top off, down to the disposal. For this big, I'm gonna cut them probably into 4 pieces. So that they're about this big. Hang on. They're about this big. These are huge strawberries. So I'm gonna cut, this is 1 pound of strawberries. And for me, 1 pound makes 2 pies. You don't wanna have, when I make it, I don't wanna have too much strawberry. Look at that hoss. This one I'm gonna cut up in a lot more pieces because it's just such a nice big berry. Okay, we're gonna speed through this part and I'll be back. Okay, now I have the strawberries all cut up, ready to go. I'll split it in half when it's time. I'm doing all this while my pie crusts are in the oven. You can kind of multitask while that's happening because they don't have to be cooled down to actually put the pies together. They just need to be cooked. So next, I'm gonna make the strawberry pie filling, which is probably my favorite thing ever in the world, is this strawberry pie filling. We're gonna start with the full version, meaning like we're gonna use sugar, regular jello. We're gonna start with that version, and then I'll show you how to do that, and then we'll go through how to do the lower sugar version. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is take a cup of sugar. I have a clear, kind of large measuring cup that I'm gonna use for this one. And you need a cup of sugar. This is a brand new sugar container, so I'm going to try to pour it as best I can. Perfect. Then we're going to take 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. If I can find that tablespoon. And we're going to take a fork and you want to stir it around until the cornstarch, so right now it's kind of sitting on top in these lumps. I'm going to stir it until the cornstarch and the sugar look like one cohesive product. So now you can see that it looks like just one product. Then we're going to add a cup of water. I like to use filtered water, partly because it's just right here and easy. And then you just pour that in and you stir it around until the sugar and cornstarch are dissolved, and you can run your fork through it very easily. I'm just using the same fork as I was before. Now this goes in the microwave for 5 minutes total, but after about 3 minutes, you start stirring it every 30 seconds. And it's so cool what it happens here. So I'm gonna pop it in the microwave. I'll show you this when it's done. Gotta pop on here and do a correction. You don't need corn syrup for this recipe. I used this in pecan pie, not strawberry pie. Not sure what I was thinking, but you don't need the corn syrup. So my pie crusts are done. This is what they look like, just a little bit golden brown, cooked through. That's all you want to see for the pie crust. I'm gonna sit them aside till I'm ready. So I pulled the cornstarch sugar mixture out of the oven or microwave, and to stir it, and this is what you're starting to see it thicken up, which is what you want. We're going for this being thick and clear. So we're not quite there yet, but I want to mix it through to make sure that it's staying mixed. And now it goes back in the microwave. Okay, so now we're at the next stage of the pie filling. This is what it's going to look like when it's ready. It's like a smooth, translucent gel. That's the best way I can describe it. So this is where the magic happens. This is when you open your strawberry jello. I've used generic. I just happened to get jello this time because not a lot of generics make sugar-free. And you're gonna need 3 tablespoons of strawberry jello. I don't necessarily, they're kind of heapy. This is where it's gonna turn this beautiful red, pink color. Caution, this is very hot, so just beware. This is what it's supposed to look like. This, I think it almost, if you've seen Ghostbusters 2, it kind of looks like the slime in Ghostbusters 2. But you want this thick, reddish pink gel to form. So now I'm going to set this one aside. Remember, this is the full sugar, and we're going to dive right into the sugar-free version. So same thing. The cool thing is about stevia, and part of why I picked it for this application, is it uses the exact same measuring. So if it's a cup of sugar, it's a cup of stevia. So add a cup of stevia. It's the exact same process. 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. Stir it around until it looks the same. Stevia does look a little different. It's a little more like powdered sugar, but you still want to stir it around, make sure there's no lumps. And now we get the water. And now that we have the water in, we stir this around. This one takes a little more stirring to get it incorporated with the water. It's just it's a finer milled powder, so it takes a little bit longer. This is the same thing. I'm going to pop it in the microwave. I will come back when it's time to add the sugar-free. While the filling is working in the microwave, I'm going to take the strawberries and I'm going to split half into one pie crust and half into the other. Just eyeballing half and half, and then just spread it around a little. I like to have just a thin layer or an even layer of strawberries on the bottom. Oh, I gotta eat one. Too full. So, these are what the two pies look with the strawberries in it. So the one with stevia does come out a little whiter, but it is to the right texture that we want. So now it's time to add in the strawberry sugar-free jello. Now this is a much smaller packet. You're not going to get 3 tablespoons. So what you do is I just eyeball about 3/4 of the packet, because that's about the same amount that we used from the other pack. Stir it around. Again, this one takes a little more finessing, a little bit more work, but not much. So we're just gonna I'm gonna keep stirring it until I feel like everything is incorporated. I think it just takes a little longer for the sugar-free jello to break down. So now we have nice pretty colors that we want to see. So I'm going to start with the full flavor one going in the pie, because this is cooled off more. So then you just pour it over the strawberries. It's that simple, folks. Then I just take the spatula and spread it around, making sure it gets all the nooks and crannies around the thing. And then you taste test it for the chef. So good. Yummy, delicious. There's our full flavored one. Now I'm going to take the sugar-free one and do the exact same thing. The sugar-free one does come out a little bit thicker, which is fine. Just means you have to spread it around. Like I said, this one takes a little more work, but it's not much more. It's not where it's unworthy of doing it. So the pies are done with what I have to do before they go in the fridge. So this is the sugar-free one, and this is the regular one. So now they're going to go in the fridge until they set up. Sorry guys, I'm on my finger. They're going to go to the fridge until they set up, which usually takes a few hours. So later on, once they're set and ready to go, then we can taste the difference and I can tell you how it went. All right, so we're back for the final verdict or taste test and verdict. So this is the slice of regular strawberry pie full of sugar, regular whipped topping on top. And this is the sugar-free version with light whipped cream or light whipped topping on top. So I'm going to start with the sugar-free version because I've had the full version many times, and I know what it tastes like and what I think of it. So I want to start with the sugar-free version. So the sugar-free version, for 1/8 of the pie, which is about how you would normally cut it into 8 pieces. One piece has 118 calories, 20 grams of carbs, 5 grams of fat, and 10 grams of protein. So not a terrible snack. So let's take a bite and let's see how it is. The texture's a little bit more, a little bit stiffer than the regular. So my friends, that is not bad. I mean, it does not taste exactly like the original, but I'm actually quite surprised by how good it tastes. So the regular slice, at same ratio, if it's cut the pie into 8 pieces, has 220 calories, 43 grams of carbs, 5 grams of fat, and 11 grams of protein. So still, I mean, it's not the worst dessert that you could have anyway, but we shaved quite a bit off. I mean, it's so good, but I'm a little biased because this is one of my favorite foods. But I will say, for 100 less calories and half the carbs, this is a solid alternative. So for me, I don't think I'm gonna replace my full sugar strawberry pie with the sugar-free version. I think I will still have the full flavor one every once in a while. But if I'm really craving strawberry pie or want to have it more often, I think I would recommend the sugar-free version. It's way better than I expected it to be. So there you have it. I think they're both viable options for a dessert. Great for summer. There's a fresh taste to it because of the strawberries. I think very easy to make. I will leave the recipes for both down in the description box so that you can see what you need if you want to recreate either of these recipes. But I say it's pretty close to the same, so I'm impressed. I thank you guys so much for stopping by. Please give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!